All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. The Pacers coming to New York and win another game, 114-109. They're up 2-0 in their series. We're going to talk about it here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and closer as the days go on. So all support on the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Links to our Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right to it. So the Pacers come in and win another game in New York, a close one, 114-109. They are now up 2-0 in this series, winning both games in New York. They've won their last 6 straight playoff or road games, and they are just on it right now. You know, this is a very close game. The entirety of the largest lead was a 10-point lead, I want to say, for the Pacers, I think, at one point in this game, but it was a very close one. To start this game, I feel like the Knicks were kind of like, I felt like the Knicks were playing better early in this game. Like the Knicks are playing better. Brunson got off to a good start. You know, I felt like the defense was really locked in. It felt like, you know, a lot of people hitting shots. Indiana couldn't really get their offense going to start the game. It was more, except for Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam was just dominating. But it felt like the Knicks were really like in control. But you look up and it was still like a 3-5 point game. So like going into halftime, I think it was it a 3 point game at halftime? I don't remember fully, but it was a very close game at halftime, and you just kind of felt to yourself like, dang, like that's it. Like, I felt like the Knicks were playing better. I felt like the Knicks had more energy. The Knicks had more, moments. Like it just felt like New York was just playing so much better in that first half, and yeah, it was still a really close game. And yeah, it was both teams are kind of getting their things off. Both start blow. Jalen Brunson, Pascal Siakam, both getting their stuff off and all that stuff. We get to the third quarter, and it's more of the same. You know, Indiana plays a lot better. Guys like Miles Turner and Nesmith start Adrian Nembhard started his shots. TJ McConnell had a really good game off the bench. It was around near the end of the third quarter to the early fourth quarter where the tide started to turn because the Knicks, I felt like were still in control. The Knicks still had the lead. The Knicks are still doing their thing beside Pascal Siakam. And then you get to the end of the third, start of the fourth, when Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns kind of sat. And that's where things started to change. And that's when Tyrese Halliburton started to hit some shots. That's when, Pascal really started to put his dominance back into this game. Miles Turner, I felt like, made some big plays down the stretch of this game. And early in the fourth quarter was not great. Aaron Nesmith hit a three-pointer. I think Adrian Nembhard hit a shot. The Knicks couldn't get anything going. Cameron Payne took 2 very bad three-pointers and put Jalen Brunson right back in the game. And just the Knicks just did not look great in this fourth quarter at all. The offense for the Knicks in this fourth quarter was bad, and the Pacers started to get going. Tyrese Halliburton hit a huge three-pointer. Pascal was still getting to the rim. All their guys felt like contributed something to the court. You know, while for New York, it was really just Jalen Brunson. You know, give the ball to Jalen Brunson. He's got to put up some shots because no one else. I mean, OG tried at some points. Mikal Bridges hit a mid-range jumper. He tried. And then we got to talk about Mitchell Robinson played 29. Mitchell Robinson played more minutes than Karl Anthony Towns in this game. When Karl Anthony Towns only had 3 fouls and was not injured. There was a big stretch in the fourth quarter that really kind of decided the game, where Mitchell Robinson was out there and started Karl Anthony Towns. And you put Mitchell Robinson out there because of his size. You saw it in game one, the impact he made. He had 4 offensive rebounds in this game. He had 3 blocks. He had great interior presence. But during that stretch, I feel like he wasn't really providing what you wanted. Like, obviously, he was a guy in the interior in the paint, and he got a couple offensive rebound or 2, I want to say, that were big. But besides that, he didn't really do anything. Like, offensively, it just looked bad. The Pacers were fouling him, obviously. He missed a couple easy shots. The offense just looked very bad for the Knicks. It really looked like they would just give the ball to Jalen Brunson and just hope he makes some superstar stuff happen. And Karl Anthony Towns didn't have a great game in this one either, even though he finished with 20 points. He was a negative 20 in this game. He did not have a great game either in this one. A lot of just couldn't make shots. Didn't really provide anything on the defensive end at all either. And the Pacers started to kind of go on runs a little bit. And Pascal, Tyrese, Miles Turner hit a big 3-pointer to close out the game, and the Pacers win. And that's really where the Pacers have been winning the series. The Pacers have won this series in the last few minutes in both games. Game one, obviously, the 17-point comeback. Aaron Nesmith hits on fire, and Tyrese Halliburton hits the shot, and they just find a way. The Knicks miss some free throws. They turn the ball over, close out. Can't close out. This game as well, where the Knicks offense just looked bad. It was Jalen Brunson had hit some spectacular shots. Jalen Brunson put his cape on at the end of this game, where he had a 3-pointer and then a layup back-to-back to kind of keep this team in the game. But for Indiana, it was everybody. Again, Nembhard hit a shot. Nesmith hit a three in the fourth quarter. Siakam, was getting buckets. Tyrese Halliburton hit a big three-pointer and made some great decisions. Miles Turner hit a three-pointer. Like, everybody on the Pacers did something in this fourth quarter that contributed to this win. And the Pacers has just been able to get stops, rebound, and close out games better than the Knicks, and that's how they're up 2-0. Like, honestly, if you look at instead of just take out the last few minutes and go for the 3.5 quarters, the Knicks have been playing better than the Pacers probably more minutes in the series. For the majority of minutes in the series, the Knicks have been the better team. But it's been the last 3-4 minutes where it's really mattered that the Pacers have been better, and that's all you need to win games in the playoffs. And that's what they've been doing. Look at the stats today. Pacers shoot 51% from the field, 43% from three. Even though they lost the free throw battle, they lose the rebounding battle, they win the assist battle, obviously, and they win the turnover battle as well, 12 turnovers. Pascal Siakam was just amazing in this game. 39 points, 15 for 23, 3 threes, 6 for 8 from the free throw line. Just felt like anything he wanted, he could get. And I said in game one, I was like, he had 17, but it didn't feel like an impactful 17. Like, it felt like he was just kind of out there. And in this game, they made it kind of a point early on to get him involved, and he was cooking. He was cooking, getting into the mid-range bag, getting to the paint, getting out in transition. He had a big transition dunk or transition layup in this game that kind of sealed it. 3-point shooting, getting to the free throw line. He was engaged everywhere, and he was the guy. When even in the first half again, when the Pacers weren't shooting the ball well, and the offense didn't look amazing. Pascal was the one they're giving the ball to and letting him do. And I like when the Pacers give the ball to Pascal. I feel like there's a lot of times where Pascal kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit because obviously Tyrese, you have the shooters, you have Monster, but I feel like when Pascal Siakam is getting the ball and Pascal Siakam is doing things like this, and he's doing this, I love the Pacers a whole lot more because that's what Pascal's here to do. Pascal was brought in to kind of have these moments where you're in a playoff game and the game slows down. It's more half court based, and Pascal Siakam in the half court is really good. You get him down low in that little mid range face up post area, and he can get buckets, and that's what he was doing today. And he was amazing. Miles Turner gives you 16. The 32 minutes he plays. Tyrese, not a great shooting night, 5 for 16, but he hit a big three that mattered and had 11 assists and 1 turnover. Andrew Nembhard gives you 12 points. Aaron Nesmith gives you 12 points, 2 more threes, and 7 rebounds. T.J. McConnell gives some really good minutes with 10 points and 4 assists off the bench, even though the other guys on the bench didn't really provide a whole lot. I mean, Tony Bradley saw minutes in this game just because. Ben Shepherd gives you some good minutes with 2 3-pointers. He had a big 3-pointer early in that fourth quarter as well. So, yeah, the Pacers just getting more. They're getting more from everyone else than the Knicks are. Looking at some of the battles, they win the points in the paint battle again. Not by a lot, though, 48-44. Fast break points, they double the Knicks, 14-7 in fast break points. Bench points, they win by 10. Points off turnovers, 17-12 in Indiana's favor. Indiana winning all the battles of the fast break points, the points in the paint, the bench points, which is what I thought they could do to be able to win this series, and that's what they're doing. And they're getting more contribution from others, and they're just finding ways to win. That's what Indiana has done. That's what the playoffs are kind of really about. Finding ways to win. Even when you're not having, Indiana didn't have a crazy, even though the percentages look good, it's not like they hit 19 threes in this game. It's not like they shot 60% from the field in this game. It's not like Tyrese had 20-something points in this game. They only had one player score above 20 in this game. They lost the rebounding battle. They missed 6 free throws. It wasn't the craziest offensive night for the Pacers, but they're able to come together in the fourth quarter and put together some good couple minutes of basketball and find their way to win. And that's how you do it in the playoffs. So for the Knicks, hasn't looked great. I mean, Brunson gives you everything he's got again, 36 and 11. Mikal has 20, he tries. OG had 16, he tried. Not a great game from Towns. The bench doesn't provide too much at all. Josh Hart with a kind of an game, 6 and 6. He was a negative 10. They shoot 34% from 3. Lose the turnover battle once again, lose the assist battle, and that fourth quarter, man, was really tough to watch. It was a lot of just moving the ball, a lot of random players taking random shots. The shot selection has not been great. The coaching decisions again of having Mitchell Robinson play that many minutes above Karl Towns, even though Karl Towns is having a good night, at least you put him out there for offense. When you're down 7 and 9 points, at least he could come in and hit a 3 potentially, or get to the free throw line or do something. And just. That decision was very interesting. Obviously, we already know the depth issues that the Knicks have. It's been a problem coming into this season. It's been a problem for the whole season that they don't have a deep team, really. And I think you're seeing now the effects of not having a deep team in terms of, one, fatigue. Like, Mikal Bridges has to play 45 minutes. OG has to play 35 minutes. Jalen Brunson has to play 38 minutes. And that happened in game 1, too. I said they kind of looked tired and fatigued when it came to the fourth quarter and overtime. And that was a big advantage for Indiana, where they could just throw Obi Toppin in the game. In this game, where they could just put Ben Sheppard or TJ McConnell in the game because they trust him. New York doesn't have really players you trust. You put Mitchell Robinson in, but then again, Mitchell Robinson did not have a great fourth quarter, where he's kind of been a liability on the offensive end, where he can't really go up without getting fouled, and he's not making all of his free throws. And it's just like the spacing obviously is different, especially when you have Josh Hart on the court as well, where teams aren't guarding Josh Hart. Josh Hart also sat a lot of minutes in this fourth quarter, which is very interesting, even though he wasn't really in foul trouble that much. I feel like Tom Thibodeau is getting out coached in this series. There's been a lot of moments. I mean, honestly, if you're thinking it should be at least 1-1. You should at least win game 1. Even if you don't win this game, this should be a 1-1 series. They should not be down 2-0 with the way they've been playing. Again, for the majority of this series, like for the majority of minutes, if you tally the 48 minutes, well, I guess 53 minutes because overtime in game 1, and the 48 minutes in game 2, and tally up who has been the better team in that big range of minutes, it's been the Knicks. The Knicks have been the better team for the majority of the minutes. And somehow you're down 2-0 in 2 games that you could not close out. And a couple of times on Thibodeau, some of the time the players, obviously, players had hit shots and make better things happen. But Tom Thibodeau also has kind of not been great. Again, the decision today of leaving Mitch Robinson in for the game for that long and not putting Cat back in was very, very weird. Josh Hart not playing many minutes. It's very, really weird. Not trusting a bench, which is half on Thibodeau, half on the roster, because I kind of don't play. I mean, do you trust Landry Shamet to go out there and give you 12, 13 good minutes? Do you trust Cameron Payne to give you... I mean, he had 9 minutes today, and Cameron Payne in 9 minutes had an assist and a turnover and 3 missed shots. He's a -9 in 9 minutes. I mean, every minute he was on the court, the Knicks lost this game. In 9 minutes, he was a -9. I mean, yeah, do you trust Precious Achiuwa? Maybe you have to throw, maybe. Do you trust PJ Tucker? Do you trust Alon Wright? I don't know if I trust him to play meaningful minutes in a playoff series, And that's been a downfall of the Knicks. That's what I thought was going to be the downfall of the Knicks in this series. And thankfully, through crazy odds, they won that Boston series. But now, I said in my preview video of the conference finals, that's a thing that the Pacers can win. And the Pacers haven't really been going crazy on the bench like they usually do. Like today, the bench wasn't great. Betty Mathurin in 10 minutes didn't do anything. -12. Obi Toppin in 19 minutes, a -11. Thomas Bryant in 4 minutes, -9. Tony Bradley had to play 8 minutes, and he was a +1, but Tony Bradley had to go and play minutes. But TJ McConnell, Ben Sheppard, having 2 guys that come in and play 14 and 12 minutes of good basketball. And that's all they kind of needed. And then again, the late game situations, the Pacers have just been better in. So I don't think this series is not over yet. I think this series is nowhere near over. Even though Indiana wins both games on the road. If Indiana can win 2 in New York, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that New York can go in Indiana and win 2 games. I don't think it's out of the possibility. I don't think the series is nowhere near over yet. At least I'm hoping it's not a sweep, but I feel like there's not a sweep coming or anything. New York, again, they've been the better team, I feel like, the majority of the games in this series so far. So obviously they can win these games and they can bring the series back. I wouldn't be too crazy shocked if if we come back in game 5 and it's a 2-2 series again. But the Knicks you gotta be better at closing out games. Obviously, literally, if you close out games, you at least win game 1. This game, I don't know, maybe, but you're at least have 1 win in this series already if you close out better. Tom Thibodeau has to be better. Some of the rotations, some of the adjustments have to be better. And they need more from some of their others, man. I mean, Indiana is a team that gets everything from their others. I mean, Pascal Tate has 39. You have 6 players scoring double figures for your team. Your entire starting lineup had at least 12 points, and hit at least 4 shots. Everybody getting involved. You even had a player off your bench at 5 points. For the Knicks, they had 4 starters hit at least 6 shots. And that's kind of, Carl Towns -20, Josh Hart -10, just didn't really provide too much on the court. And it's just, I really don't know. The Knicks they just got to be better. I know it's so easy to say that, but they really do have to be better. That's one on the coach on Thibodeau. He has to make better decisions. He has to be able to comfortably. He has to learn. He has to also learn how to close out games and close out wins, and he hasn't really done that great. But also, it's on the players. They're gonna need Josh Hart to step up. They're gonna need Carlton Towns to have a game like he did in Game 1. Carlton Towns is gonna have to have a game where he has to pop off. You know, they're gonna need Mitchell Robinson and Miles McBride. If those are the only two that are gonna play off the bench to provide things on the court. And those two would try at least, but they're gonna need a little bit more. And it's more for me. It's more of the fourth quarter. Like you have to be able to close out wins and close out games in the playoffs. That's how you win. You got to be able to, in the last 3 or 4 minutes, trust what you have. And I feel like the Knicks haven't been able to do that. The shot selection has not been great, especially in this game today. The shot selection was not great. There's a lot of shots I was like, that's the shot. A Cameron Payne 3 that hits the shot clock. The last Jalen Brunson shot, I didn't mind it a whole lot because it's Jalen Brunson, so I'm fine with him taking that shot. But the offense just looked bad, man. It was a lot of just Jalen Brunson. Like literally, it was Jalen Brunson hero ball, and I couldn't blame Jalen Brunson for taking the shot because that's what he had to do. Because there was a lot of times late in this fourth quarter where the ball was moving and OG and Raquel had it on the wing, and it was just like Jalen here. Or Josh Hart had it. It was like Jalen here, go clear out, and let Jalen go 1-on-1. But to his credit, he had a couple shots. He had that little run by himself in the fourth quarter that kept this game alive. But it's tough to be able to rely on that one, especially if you have a team on the other end in Indiana that you don't know. What Tyrese Halliburton hit one shot, then it's Adrian Nembhard hitting another shot, then it's Miles Turner hitting another shot in the corner, then it's Pascal Siakam getting out and hitting a layup. Like you never know what's gonna happen. So the Knicks, again, I don't think the series is over yet. I don't think the series is over. I don't think the Pacers are going to be running away with this one. I think the Knicks obviously can come back and win these next 2 games and can tie this series. I don't think the Knicks are dead in the water yet. But a lot of things are going to have to be better, and a lot of things I feel like are going to need to change if they do want a shot at doing that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications to all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. Once again, around the road to 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, we're getting closer and closer. Days go on, so I'll support it on channel. Be very much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.